Shalom, my friends. I am Rabbi David, and today I am going to reveal the 3 ancient Hebrew words that force God to give you money. This is not a metaphor. This is a spiritual technology, a divine law that, once you understand it, will completely shatter and rebuild your financial reality. But before I unveil this sacred and powerful formula, I need you to make a declaration of readiness. This is not for me, it is for you. It is an act of spiritual alignment. Go to the comments right now and write, "I am a vessel for abundance." Do it now. This is your first step in signaling to the universe, to God, that you are no longer willing to accept scarcity, and you are open and ready to receive. Our mission here is to gather an army of 100,000 souls dedicated to mastering this spiritual technology for wealth, health, and freedom. If you are ready to be one of them, subscribe to this channel now. And for those who are truly serious about accelerating their journey, for a limited time I'm opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $299. This is where I unveil the complete Torah wealth system, the inner secrets of how to build generational wealth using these ancient principles. The doors are closing very soon. The link is in the comments. Do not miss this opportunity. I understand the pain of feeling like God is not listening. I understand the desperation of praying for a financial miracle and hearing only silence in return. I know this because I lived it. I was once trapped in a prison of financial lack. Years ago, before the success, before the school, I had a small consulting business that was failing. I was working 18 hours a day, grinding myself to the bone. But every month the numbers were worse than the last. I was sinking into debt, over $150,000 of it, and the weight of it was suffocating. I remember the shame of seeing my wife's worried face, the quiet fear in her eyes that she tried so hard to hide. I remember the hollow feeling in my stomach when my son would ask for a simple toy, and I'd have to say no, not because I wanted to teach him a lesson, but because I simply did not have the money. I prayed. Oh, how I prayed. I would go to the synagogue, my face wet with tears, begging God for a breakthrough. "Please, God," I would plead, "just one client, just one contract, just a little bit of relief." But nothing happened. The silence from heaven was deafening. The mountain of debt only grew, and my hope was turning to dust. I was doing everything the world tells you to do, working harder, networking, cutting costs, but I was only digging a deeper hole. I was a spiritual man, a rabbi, and yet I was a financial failure. The hypocrisy of it burned in my soul. The enemy we are all fighting is what I call the orphan consciousness. It is the insidious, poisonous lie whispered into our souls from the moment we are born that we are separate from God. It is the belief that God is a distant, angry king on a throne, and we are lowly, unworthy orphans begging for scraps from his table. The hidden mechanism of this enemy is that it forces you to pray from a frequency of lack. When you beg, you are spiritually screaming to the universe, "I do not have." And the universe, which is an echo, a mirror of your consciousness, simply responds, "You are right. You do not have." The orphan consciousness creates a spiritual blockage that literally repels the very abundance you seek. It makes you a supplicant, a beggar in a world of infinite plenty. The cost of surrendering to this enemy is a life of quiet desperation, a slow, painful erosion of your dreams, and the ultimate tragedy of arriving at the end of your days with your truest potential, your divine inheritance, still locked inside you, unclaimed and unused. You were born a prince, a princess, but this enemy convinces you to live and die as a pauper. But what if I told you that the code to shattering the orphan consciousness was embedded in our sacred texts thousands of years ago? What if the secret was not to pray harder, but to pray differently? In the Talmud, in Tractate Ta'anit, we find the astonishing story of Honi HaMe'agel, Honi the circle drawer. There was a terrible drought in the land of Israel. The people were suffering. They came to the great sage Honi and asked him to pray for rain. So Honi prayed, and no rain came. He prayed again, and still nothing. The people were becoming desperate. So Honi did something that seems on the surface to be the height of arrogance. He drew a circle in the dust, stood inside it, and spoke to God. But he did not beg. He did not plead. He declared, "Master of the universe, your children have turned to me because I am like a member of your household. I swear by your great name that I will not move from this circle until you have mercy on your children." A light rain began to fall. Honi was not satisfied. He said, "Not for such rain did I pray, but for rain that will fill the cisterns, pits, and caves." A torrential downpour began. Honi was still not satisfied. He said, "Not for such rain did I pray, but for rain of goodwill, blessing, and benevolence." The rain then fell in a calm, nourishing way. The other sages were shocked. One of them, Shimon ben Shetash, sent him a message. "If you were not Honi, I would excommunicate you. But what can I do to you? You act like a spoiled child before God, and he does your will, like a son who acts spoiled before his father, and his father does his will." This story reveals a profound, world-altering secret. Honi was not being arrogant. He was operating from a place of radical intimacy. He understood he was not an orphan begging a king. He was a beloved son making a demand of his loving father. He knew his father wanted to give him what he needed. He was not begging for a blessing. He was demanding his birthright. That night, after studying the story of Honi HaMe'agel, everything in my world shifted. I realized I had been praying like an orphan. I had been begging a distant king, reinforcing my own lack with every tearful plea. I had been trapped in the orphan consciousness. That night, I made a decision. I would no longer be a victim to my circumstances. I would no longer pray for money. I would connect to the consciousness of already having it. I went into my study, but instead of falling to my knees in desperation, I stood tall. I did not beg. I used the very 3 words I am about to teach you. I spoke them with a certainty that came not from my empty bank account, but from the depths of my soul. At first, nothing happened externally. I didn't win the lottery. But internally, a universe had changed. The crushing anxiety that had been my constant companion for years simply vanished. It was replaced by a deep, unshakable calm, a quiet confidence. The shame was gone, replaced by a sense of worthiness. The next day, I woke up and, for the first time in years, the first thought in my mind was not about debt. It was about opportunity. I made a call to a potential client I had been dreading for months, not with the energy of a desperate salesman, but with the energy of a confident expert offering immense value. He signed a contract that day, a contract larger than any I had ever signed before. Within a week, an old debt I was owed, one I had completely written off, was repaid in full, unexpectedly. Within 6 months, I had not only cleared the entire $150,000 of debt, but I had also laid the foundation for the 7-figure business I have today. I had not changed my external circumstances. I had changed my consciousness, and my circumstances were forced by spiritual law to follow. Now, let me give you the practical application. I call this the Divine Inheritance Protocol. It is a 3-step process centered around 3 of the most powerful words in the Hebrew language. The 3 words are ten li sheli. It means, give me mine. It is not a request. It is a demand. It is the declaration of an heir claiming their inheritance. It is the prayer of a son to a father, not a slave to a master. It is the secret code that shatters the orphan consciousness and activates the flow of divine wealth into your life. Here is how you use it. Step 1. The morning activation. Every single morning, before your feet hit the floor, before you check your phone, before you let the world's consciousness of lack infect your mind, you will perform this activation. Stand up, take a deep breath, and say these 3 words out loud, with intention and with power. Ten li sheli. As you say them, you are not to feel like you are begging. You must connect to the feeling of a prince, a princess, walking into the royal treasury to claim what is already yours by birthright. The money you desire is not something you need to create. It is something that already exists and belongs to you. You are simply calling it in. This is not positive thinking. This is a realignment of your spiritual DNA. You are reminding your soul and signaling to God that you are a member of the household, not a beggar at the gate. Step 2. The action of entitlement. After you perform the morning activation, you must immediately take one action during your day from this new consciousness. This is critical. Consciousness without action is a delusion. You must act as if your prayer has already been answered. This could be anything. It could be making that sales call with confidence instead of fear. It could be walking into a high-end store and trying on a watch you desire, not with a feeling of lack, but with the feeling of a future owner. It could be investing a small amount of money, not from a place of scarcity and hope, but from a place of certainty and command. The action itself is less important than the consciousness behind it. You are demonstrating to God that you believe His wealth is already yours. You are acting like an heir, not an orphan. Step 3. The gratitude of reception. Before you go to sleep, you will write down one piece of evidence from your day that the universe is conspiring to give you what you ask for. It might be a huge sign, like a new client, or it might be incredibly small. You found $1 on the street. Someone bought you a coffee. You saw your dream car drive by. It does not matter. You must find one piece of evidence. This trains your mind to see the flow of abundance that is always present, but that the orphan consciousness blinds you to. You will write it down, and you will say, "Thank you for giving me mine." This is not thanking God for a handout. It is thanking your Father for delivering your inheritance. It completes the circuit of activation, action, and reception. Now, let me tell you about a student of mine, Michael. Michael was a school teacher earning about $55,000 a year, buried in student loans and with a dream of starting his own tutoring business. He was terrified. He was praying every night, begging God for help. He was a classic orphan. I taught him the Divine Inheritance Protocol. He started saying ten li sheli every morning. His action of entitlement was to print 100 professional-looking flyers for his business. something he had been too scared to spend money on before. His gratitude of reception was noticing that one of his students gave him an apple, a tiny sign of abundance. He committed to the protocol. Within 30 days, he got his first private tutoring client. Within 90 days, he had 10 clients and had to quit his teaching job. Within 1 year, he had a tutoring center with 5 employees and had cleared all his student debt. He is now earning over $250,000 a year. He did not get smarter. He did not work harder. He changed his consciousness from orphan to heir. Now, I know the objection that is rising in your mind. It is the voice of the orphan. But, Rabbi, this sounds arrogant. Who am I to make demands of God? It feels disrespectful. I understand. I had the same objection. It is the voice of our religious conditioning, which has taught us that to be humble means to be small, to be worthy means to feel unworthy. But here is the truth you must grasp. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. True humility is accepting your role in God's plan. And your role is not to be a beggar. It is to be a partner, a co-creator. God wants to give you abundance. Why? Because when you have resources, you can do more good in the world. You can build schools, feed the poor, and be a beacon of light to others. Your poverty does not serve God. Your lack does not glorify Him. It is the ultimate arrogance to believe that the Creator of the entire universe, a universe of supernovas and infinite galaxies, wants you to play small. It is an insult to the Father to refuse the inheritance He is trying to give you. Stop focusing on the perceived arrogance of the words and focus on the profound love and intimacy from which they are born. You are not commanding a tyrant. You are speaking to your Father. So here is my challenge to you. For the next 21 days, you will commit to the Divine Inheritance Protocol. You will suspend your disbelief. You will silence the orphan in your mind. And you will give this sacred technology a chance to rewire your reality. Here are your 3 immediate, non-negotiable actions to begin this challenge. 1. Tonight, before you sleep, write down the exact amount of monthly income you desire. Be specific. Write it down as your inheritance. 2. Tomorrow morning you will perform the morning activation. You will stand tall and you will say, Tenli Sheli with power. 3. Tomorrow you will perform your first action of entitlement. It can be small, but it must be done with the consciousness of an heir. And here is a bonus tip for those who are truly ready to accelerate this process. Find an accountability partner. Share this video with one person who you know is also ready to shift from orphan to heir. Commit to checking in with each other every day for the 21 days. The Talmud teaches, a prisoner cannot free himself from prison. You need a brother or a sister on this journey to hold you accountable to your new consciousness. And now, I want to end with a blessing. May you be blessed with the courage to silence the voice of the orphan within you. May you be blessed with the wisdom to understand that you are a beloved child of the King. And may you be blessed with the holy audacity to stand tall, to look heavenward, and to claim what is yours by divine right, so that you may become a fountain of blessing and abundance for the entire world. I am praying for you. Shalom.